the pictures and the sound tell the story. This is one of the most unique and difficult places in all of college basketball to play. And especially, they get especially fired up when a big-time opponent comes here. And this is the first time the Orange have ever played in this building.
It's really one of the great venues in all of sports. Very similar to Fenway Park when you think about that in Boston. You think about Wrigley Field. I mean, if you're a basketball lover, make a journey down to Cameron. I've been here so many times, and I still get the goosebumps, baby.
Great officiating crew, Roger Ayers, Jamie Lucky, Tony Green, as we get set for the rematch. And the first possession of Duke.
I think, guys, one of the keys right away is Syracuse to quiet the crowd by establishing an early lead.
And the great thing about doing a Syracuse game, you don't have to worry about identifying the defense.
A steal by Cooney.
He's one of the leaders in steals. He and Ennis rank 1-2 in the ACC in steals.
Yeah, people talk about the zone so much and how that impacts other teams' shooting. They don't talk about the blocks and the steals that the Orange get out of this defense.
Well, they've had a tough time shooting the ball, Jay. That's been their problem, Syracuse.
Grant, nice pass. Christmas with the elbow jumper, and the Orange strike first.
Well, Syracuse did a nice job of moving the ball, and a key matchup is going to be Rasheed Suleiman on Trevor Cooney. Cooney is the best shooter for the Orange, and he can knock down shots in a hurry if you let him get started.
Rodney Hood misses the three in the first game as Parker comes up with a rebound and draws the foul. In the first game, Duke took 72 shots. 36 of them were three-point attempts. We'll see if that trend continues here tonight.
They made 15 in that game and still came out with an L. You saw that great rebound on the interior by Parker. He has become a dominant rebounder in the ACC.
And with the floor so spread, Dick, that's going to open up the offensive glass for Duke. A lot of the rebounds are going to be long rebounds. That's a little bit of an advantage to the offense, and it means that everybody in Orange is going to have to be very alert to pursuing the ball.
Well, we've said so often, when you get a zone like that, there are lanes for you to get to the offensive glass, and that does become a problem. Some full court pressure.
Now Thornton on Cooney.
Jim Boeheim was telling us before the game, teams slow the ball up against us. They really utilize the shot clock. He said Duke will not do that.
Christmas bobbles the pass. Little turnaround 8-footer short. Got it back. Cooney. Fair passed up a 19-footer. Scoops it up and in.
Nice drive right there by C.J. Fair. Showing that good ability to get to the basket, get to the rim.
And Syracuse almost got an open three on that offensive rebound, which is the best time to take one, because the defense is thinking about going the other way. They're not thinking about defending.
Good deep position for Parker. Left it short, Fair the rebound.
Well, they got those rim protectors that Jay said a little bit earlier down there. Syracuse tough to score around the basket.
Grant from the baseline, too strong. Hood runs it down.
They got two quality forwards in Grant and Fair.
And you could say the same about Hood and Parker on the other side. Jefferson, more space than he thought he had, and rather easily getting the bank shot to go. Remember, Christmas already has one foul, and he really gave Jefferson a cushion there.
He got such an open gap in that zone.
How about Cooney, the three-point shooter with a left-handed lay-in?
Duke had a problem protecting the paint against North Carolina. They had a problem protecting the paint against Syracuse the last time these two teams played. Keeping Syracuse out of the paint is going to be a big factor for Duke.
Suleiman, who hit the game-tying three at the end of regulation in the first game of the Carrier Dome. Parker misses the turnaround, but it's off the hands of Fair. Out of bounds, Duke ball. Let's take a look now at tonight's Sonic Showdown. What a game of the first game. Syracuse shot 57%, won it in overtime, 91-89. Duke made 15 threes. Just not only a remarkably exciting game, guys, but it was played at a remarkably high level for 45 minutes.
It's one of the 5 greatest games I've ever been associated with in 35 years. Jay, I was going to tell you, they're getting the ball inside down there very easily here thus far in the game against that zone.
And Marshall Plumlee, who had what Mike Krzyzewski said was the best game he's ever had Thursday night at Carolina, in off the bench early and already onto the score sheet. And a foul going against Tyler Thornton. Jay Suleiman's become, in ACC play, much more of a distributor for Duke.
He has, and he does it off the dribble. He's the one guy on this team that can break you down off the dribble and take you in. Dribble penetration can be really debilitating to his own. Syracuse has got to do a good job of keeping them out of the lane.
I tell you, a great plus for Duke is getting a guy like Plumlee to give him active minutes.
Boy, working hard, Jeremy Grant, and he's rewarded for his effort.
What a big-time athlete Jeremy Grant is. He was phenomenal in the last matchup between these two teams. 24 points, 14 rebounds.
Thornton turns it over. The length of Fair and Grant on the wings of that Syracuse zone.
That's what makes that zone so effective. The athleticism as well.
Ooh.
He got bumped.
And Fair's called for the travel.
Wow.
And you can see what Jim Boeheim thinks of the lack of a call there.
Look at the offensive rebound by Grant. Very active on the interior. And that's their big edge, Jay. Their big edge is going to be around the basket. In fact, in the first meeting, they scored 42 points on the interior. And that's really a liability for Duke.
Well, they've got a lot more size now with Baimusa Keita available again. That gives them another shot blocker, rim protector.
Suleiman for three. Plumlee the follow.
Hey, he's becoming a real player, man. This kid was nowhere to be found in December and January. I think he has really got a spark in him, Mr. Billis. He likes that playing time, man. I'm sitting on a pine.
Grant sizing up Jefferson, spins, hangs, and hits. Another incredibly athletic play by Jeremy Grant.
You can just feel the energy level and the passion of the kids. I don't know in other games if maybe they think they play as hard, but right here they're playing as hard as you can possibly play.
Well, there are a lot of openings in that zone because of how spread the defense has to be to get out to shooters.
That's a great point. Those kind of shooters make you have to get out there, and it opens up all kinds of angles on the inside.
Suleiman, Cook. Hood wanted it in the corner. Shot clock at 7. Cook spinning, driving. And blocked. Christmas with a rejection.
And there's those rim protectors you were talking about, Jay.
Well, Cook is going to be better off giving that thing up and dropping it off.
It should be Syracuse ball, and it is as we go to the first media timeout. First one was great. Second one's off to a
game win streak. Win on a run. Only have one loss. The Gators have 2. Even though, Jay, I tell you, it doesn't really matter. It matters April 7th, who's number 1.
No question. But a lot of it is going to depend on how Syracuse plays. If the Orange play much like they did in the first game, I think they probably will keep number 1. Otherwise, it's going to be Florida.
Plumlee with a block. He's got 2 baskets and a block since coming in off the bench a couple of minutes ago.
I see a different player. I really do. Look at the energy he has right there. And you can't teach that size. He's a wide body, man. He's a space eater.
And that gives Duke a rim protector. If he's able to play significant minutes, to have a true center that can go in and bang and play big minutes, that's a big factor for Duke.
Andre Dawkins in off the bench. That's him with the ball. That's what he does. In and out on the 3. Offensive rebound. Plumlee. Dawkins again. And Fair battling Jefferson. It'll be a held ball. And it'll be Syracuse ball.
That alternate possession, man, don't get me started. That was a nightmare here to Maryland. In that Maryland game, where Duke got the possession twice in that game, ended up scoring 2.
Baimusa Keita and Michael Benajay, a former Duke player, transferred last year, sat out last year, his first year now with the Orange. They're in off the bench, and Jay, that's likely as deep as Jim Boeheim's going to go.
Well, depending upon fouls. But let's see if Syracuse goes to C.J. Fair here. Apparently not.
Ennis rattles in and out. He had an open look from the free throw line.
I think Ennis has got to look for his shot a little bit more. I think he's too unselfish. Jay, you've seen Syracuse a little more than I did. How is Keita? I haven't seen much of Keita during the year.
Well, he's had a knee thing, so he hasn't played in the last couple games. He played 2 minutes in the last game, but he's available to play tonight. And he's a guy that can block shots, he can rebound, he can finish plays around the basket, but he's not the type of player that's going to make, you're going to throw it to inside, and he's going to make a post move.
No Parker in the game right now for Duke. Rodney Hood had a big game, but he had foul trouble in that game. The Blue Devils ran into foul trouble and could very well have won that game had that not happened.
Had that big dunk attempt. Yeah. He thought he got fouled on at the end of that game.
Plumlee, not a guy to turn and face. Kicks it back out. Hood, a nice look into Jefferson. Offensive foul, Emil Jefferson.
Good job by Syracuse defensively. Jim Boeheim's club for years, that 2-3 zone. Nothing fancy, you know what's coming, and they play it exceptionally well.
He's just got to go up right away, and one of the things Marshall Plumlee can really do in the middle of that zone, after he catches it and kicks it out, he can go set a screen. The things you can do against a zone, you can penetrate it by the pass or by the dribble. You can screen it, and you can distort it by overloading it.
And you can beat it in transition if you get that ball out and run. Like they're trying right now, man. Put pressure, run, baby, run.
Parker turns it over.
As soon as you spin like that, it's done.
And Benajay is fouled, and it's going to be called a flagrant one. Jamie Lucky saying that Andre Dawkins didn't make a play on the ball. What we used to call, Jay, an intentional is now a flagrant one, and that's 2 in the ball.
Well, if he grabbed his shirt, that is certainly the right call. I think that's where we've got to get a clear path foul like the NBA has. But a terrific steal. If you show the ball, Syracuse is very active going after that ball. But unless that was a grab of the shirt, I'm not sure that's the right call.
Tough to see from that angle. You could see Mike Krzyzewski saying he was reaching for the ball.
Well, it's tough to see from where we're sitting way up here in the catbird seat. But Benajay, you said a transfer left Duke to go to Syracuse. Both these clubs don't take many transfers. Duke's had 4, Syracuse 6.
They watched 34 in white.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about the intentional.
Yeah, that's a bad call. That's a bad call.
Even I, with one eye up here, can tell you that's a bad call.
One, it wasn't that much of a foul, period. I'm not sure he actually fouled him, but he certainly didn't do anything that would get a flagrant one.
So they get a couple of extra points out of it on the free throws. And Syracuse now leading by 4.
See, I think Ennis got to look for a shot more.
Boy, Tyler Thorne's doing some kind of a job trying to deny him, and now they switch Hood onto him.
Well, that's what they did also to Marcus Page, and he broke loose in the second half. Cook played him so tough.
Benajay, baseline jumper. Rebound Plumlee, his 4th already.
You know, Benajay, a good athlete, a runner, not a really consistent shooter. Hey, by the way, North Carolina, did they bounce back? They won by 30 today.
103-70, beat Wake by 33 today as Carolina now 10-4. Crowd is yelling at Plumlee, Jay. Turn and face and make a play, but that's not his game.
Well, that's why they're not guarding him. Jim Boeheim wants him to have to do something he doesn't normally do.
Well, he could become a passer, at least catch the ball, turn and face the goal.
Hood misses the 3.
Hood, one of the premier three-point shooters in the conference. One of the premier players in the conference.
Duke now 0 for 5 from three-point range. They went just 5 for 22 Thursday night at North Carolina. Turnaround jumper by Fair. The lead grows to 6.
Hey, what about fatigue? Playing about 30 minutes, 39 minutes a game. Tell them what Jimmy Boeheim told us before the game.
No such thing as fatigue.
That's ridiculous.
Jay, you were there in Maui. He played 40 minutes all 3 games and was the most outstanding player in that tournament.
Well, he's so good. His feet are so good. That pivot to get back to shooting with his left hand, that jump shot was terrific.
Another turnover. The 5th already committed by the Blue Devils. And the 3 for Benajay.
Wow. How good do you think he feels coming back here? Didn't get any PT. No playing time. Parker with a turnover.
His 2nd turnover, and Jabari Parker did not play well in the second half against North Carolina and has not had a good start in this high-level game against Syracuse.
And I think a lot of that's that Syracuse zone. Really, they're finding him. They're identifying him everywhere he goes.
Well, Parker in the middle, he can make a play in there. Plumlee's behind the zone. And it might not be a bad idea for Parker to try to get into the middle.
That's what I would do with him. I'd slide him right where the ACC is.
Plumlee whips a pass to the corner for Hood. Knocks down the 3.
Nice play. He was a facilitator there. Plumlee caught the ball, found the open man, got it to the right guy who can flat out shoot the 3, and they're jumping with joy. The Cameron Crazies.
Grant wide open on the wing. Airballs it. Out of bounds, though, to the Orange as we step aside for the 2nd time tonight. A very good start on the road here for the Syracuse Orange. C.J. Fair, who had 28 in the first game against
the zone, they have not been playing him. But on this sequence, and you can go ahead and roll it, on this sequence, when he does get the ball into the middle of the zone and catches it, he makes a little dribble move. And he engages now. He engages by Musakeda there, and that makes C.J. Fair come in instead of staying with Rodney Hood. And that freed up Hood for that jump shot. Just that little dribble move and forcing Keita to come up and play him. Otherwise, he would have been playing Jabari Parker. It would have essentially been man-to-man on the other 4 guys. Nobody playing Plumlee.
That dribble penetration definitely helped Plumlee right there. No doubt, Jay. He did a great job. Turning, I think the first thing you have to do when you catch the ball in that area is turn and face the goal and see what you have on the left and right.
Syracuse with the ball in a 6-point lead. Thornton is on Cooney, the shooter, who has one two-point basket on a layup. Doesn't have a three yet, as Ennis misses the jumper, and Plumlee down with his fifth rebound.
He's getting a lot more PT playing time.
Jefferson back into the game and out for Duke. Parker is back on the bench.
Look at that extension on those three-point shooters, giving all kinds of space in that lane where he just caught the ball. Right in that lane is wide open, and kick it right out. That's how you break it, man. But you got to make that three-point shot.
Hood got a clean look, and now Suleiman commits the foul.
That's great execution.
Got a couple of conference battles tipping off Bracket Builder Week at 7 o'clock Eastern time on a Monday night. You'll see Syracuse again. They've got some tough games coming up. They're at Maryland. They still go to Virginia and Florida State as well before the end of the regular season. And then at 9 Eastern, it'll be Andrew Wiggins in Kansas hosting Oklahoma. Big Monday presented by Verizon.
Hey, anybody talking about Virginia? They're only 14-1. They went on a 25-zip run today against the Irish.
And again, 1 week from today, it'll be at 4 o'clock Eastern. Syracuse at Virginia in a game that figures to have a large say in who wins the ACC regular season championship.
Can't wait to get down there. Haven't been there in years.
Benajay in and out. Offensive rebound. Keita. Oh, and he missed one right around the rim.
Got to take that up and dunk that baby with authority.
Duke got caught on a switch, and that pulled Marshall Plumlee way away from the basket and enabled that offensive rebound. Syracuse just didn't finish it. Guys, Syracuse is going to have to stay with shooters. They can't. They have to make guys like Plumlee and Jefferson finish plays inside for tough twos instead of giving up open threes.
Thornton finishes on a tough drive.
So underrated for him. We keep hearing about his shooting ability. He's a much better shooter than people give the kid credit for. He made those 3 big threes when they were in trouble with Syracuse. They had all the foul trouble. Parker was out, Jefferson was out, and he came in and bang, bang, bang. 3 of them in a row.
Every time Cooney comes off a screen or an exchange, Duke is switching.
He's their one threat in shooting the basketball, so they got to really find him. Oh, look at this.
Oh, tip back up and in. I don't know if Keita will get credit for it. It might have gone off Plumlee's hand, actually, but it's a basket one way or the other for the Orange.
Yeah, well, Keita gets credit for it. He was closest to it. Those are always my favorite in the play. Whenever that goes in, you just put your arm up as you're running down the floor and try to get the bucket.
Plumlee airmails one.
Yeah, the guy closest to the situation gets credited with the deuce. They'll take it any way they can. Shooting the ball has been real tough for them in the last 5-6 games.
I think Keita actually did touch it. I had no idea where it went.
Parker back in now for Duke. Dawkins in as well, and Cook.
Last 5 games, Syracuse averaging 58 points a game. 58's not going to get it done here.
Whoa. And Grant tried to slam it down, came up short. Ball's loose. Cooney for 3. Duke ball.
That's right. They want to beat that zone before the lines.
Plumlee. And draws the foul, and the crowd is loving what Marshall Plumlee's doing tonight.
I haven't seen him get this many minutes in ages. I mean, it's unbelievable. He's getting a lot of playing time.
Hasn't played this much since he played at the Christ School.
He dominated there.
Jeremy Grant trying to make a...
Who was listening, he's at the line right now. That's Marshall Plumlee.
Tell you one thing, North Carolina had it in the second half.
They did.
They had it. Do you have it?
No,
Do you have it, Jay?
I'm desperately lacking it.
What is it?
When I have you next to me, I have it.
It's...
Syracuse leading by 6. You can see neither team is shooting particularly well. Duke is just 1 for 7 from three-point range. That is traditionally a strength of theirs.
That's really been typical of both clubs in their recent games. In fact, Duke's got 3 consecutive games not scoring 70.
Syracuse has gone 5 in a row not scoring 60, although as Jim Boeheim correctly points out, other teams take so much time with the ball against them. There are fewer possessions in a Syracuse game than there are in many games as the foul goes against the Orange. But that notwithstanding, Jay, Syracuse, and Jim Boeheim's the first to say it, they're not a great offensive team.
No, they're not. This is not Jim Boeheim's best offensive team. It's not his best defensive team. But As we've talked about, when the game's on the line, they've operated at an efficient, high level, and not many teams have done that or can do that.
They have found a way to win. They were expecting a miracle against Boston College, and you got to really sing the praises of those kids hanging in and gutting it out after being down 13 to win that game.
Cook misses the three.
You know, the funny part about they didn't need a miracle against Boston College. All they do is make a layup at the end of the game. They couldn't do it.
They had a couple, some would say, miraculous finishes. One against Pittsburgh, one against North Carolina State. Winning games that even their own coach says they probably should have lost. Benajay getting a lot of minutes for Syracuse tonight, playing well off the bench. Cooney's open.
He usually makes that kind of shot. Benajay's doing a nice job. He really is. He's a better shooter when you look at his numbers than I thought.
Parker steps into a three.
Just a matter of time. He's a double-double machine. A big-time player. I personally believe this kid is as special as it gets. Rebound, score. He'll be the first freshman ever to lead Duke in rebounding and scoring.
Benajay, a little strong on his three. Hood, full head of steam. Now Ennis, coast to coast the other way. And the follow is there for Grant, but wait a minute, we had a whistle and a foul, so the basket is not going to count. It's going to be 2 free throws for Tyler Ennis.
When I got the foul prior to him releasing the ball, the contact. Ennis is such an outstanding diaper dandy, just like you talk about Parker. Just 2 phenomenal players.
You can't speed him up. It's really remarkable the poise with which he plays. And when he has to turn on the jets, he can do it just like in transition. He beat everybody down the court.
And he's been Mr. Clutch in big-time situations. Just call Jamie Dixon. I mean, Pittsburgh would have 2 quality wins if it wasn't for Ennis down the stretch in those games. Hey, don't mention that Boston College win. It was really heartwarming the way they played that game for Mr. Kelly.
Dick Kelly.
Yes, SID. Great story, by the way, also from Peter Thamel on The Odd Couple. I read that story, terrific, about Mike Krzyzewski and Jim Boeheim. 2 really odd guys who have great respect for each other, admiration, and both terrific family men.
Dick Kelly, a longtime member of the BC administration, losing his battle with ALS in recent days, and the Eagles coming up with a win at the Carrier Dome this week as Grant forces his way in and comes up with another basket. And Mike Krzyzewski is going to take a timeout.
They're really playing well, Jay. They're playing exceptionally well early in this game for the first 14 minutes.
Duke is getting the ball where they want it, but not strong with it. And Syracuse taking it the other way and getting something easy as a result.
Second screen experience on ESPN3, featuring unique camera angles, audio feeds, and crowd cameras in support of the biggest games on ESPN. And our crew, led by Phil Dean, Doug Holmes, down in the truck. They got some extra toys to play with on this game, and they're making the most of them.
That's a great combination, those 2 guys. They make music together.
Ennis surrounded, turns it over.
And he doesn't turn it over often.
Cook, nice shovel pass. Suleiman is fouled.
Cook really creates a lot of energy on the floor, makes things happen. He's had some great moments this year. He's also had some down moments. He is right now 2-on-1, going to give it to his buddy. And there's the foul in contact. Early in this game, Jim Boeheim's got to be pleased with what he's seeing. The efficiency, the way they're executing.
Well, they've given up some open shots. Duke just hasn't hit them. But on that last possession, Duke did a very nice job of corralling and containing Tyler Ennis in transition. And they were able to come from behind and tip that thing away. It's not often that you see Tyler Ennis in any situation turn the ball over.
Right, he doesn't turn the ball over. Leads the ACC in assists. You know, we're talking about close games. Syracuse has won 10 games in single digits. They had that one game they stole basically at the end from North Carolina State, the 2 Pittsburgh miracles. But you got to credit their kids. They have a winner's mentality.
Another turnover.
Oh, nice play there. What a terrific play. Oh, that's even better. What a great play he made on the outlet pass after the steal.
Well, it came because of the pressure. Quinn Cook put tremendous pressure on the ball. Ennis was about to get a 5-second call and had to give it up and threw a bad pass as a result.
That was Thornton who made the save, and then Ennis recovered to make the block.
I don't think Tyler Ennis is a teenager. I think he's like a 40-year-old guy that's masquerading. There needs to be an investigation. He's just too cool out there.
Looks like he's got a pulse rate of about 40 all the time. He just...
Oh, what a nice fake. He got fouled.
And Kita commits the foul. Second on by Musakita.
Well, you called it, Dick, the nice fake. That was a really good shot fake that set up that foul.
I love that. Kids that use that shot fake really well. Hancock uses it down in Louisville. They really nipped today a big game.
Russ Smith.
Russ Smith
got the win at Cincinnati.
Look at those gaps in that zone. Big gaps.
Hood.
He's a finisher. See, he's a guy, if he catches the ball there, he can finish at the basket. He's got strength to the goal, he's explosive to the basket, and he can flat out play. He's a Marco Polo dynamite player.
Boy, they are not giving Ennis any room to breathe at all right now. And Syracuse is scrambling to maintain possession. Duke's defensive intensity is extremely high.
Nice ball screen he got right there up on top.
Ennis open. Misses the three, but they're on the glass.
Oh, I missed the layup right there. Should have had that conversion off the offensive glass.
Rodney Hood, when he got the ball into the middle, he shot faked to pick up a foul. Watch him here. He shot fakes again. That sets everything up. Baimu Cicada goes for that fake after being faked out the play before. You have to stay on the ground, and you can't leave the ground as a shot blocker until the offensive player leaves the ground first. Easy to say, difficult to do.
He left something on the floor, too. Something I've never worn. But the bottom line is, out there, why don't more kids work on that? Catch the ball, use that shot fake. It is so effective. It creates space for you as an offensive player.
Grant missed them both.
Oh, wow. Free throw line. What a headache that has been for so many coaches.
Well, North Carolina's been hitting free throws the last couple games.
Second half they did against Duke.
And did against Wake Forest, too.
Cook lobs it inside. Jefferson.
Should have gone up with that.
Suleiman. Now Hood, another fake. This time he drives and draws another foul.
He really can attack the basket. He's got a terrific first step. Watch his first step. It is really terrific.
And that's 3 on Keita, but that was another fake. That was a foot fake instead of a shot fake.
1-1 bonus situation now for Duke after the third on Keita. Oh, and they've given the foul to Grant, not to Keita. So it's not the third on Keita, it's the second on Grant. Media timeout on the next whistle. Low scoring game, much different than the first one, but close. Fair from the baseline. Another offensive rebound for the Orange. Deep one.
They need him to make some threes. To create a little more space. People come out and check him. He's got some wide open looks. Not able to knock him down.
And another block. Keita again. Timeout on the floor. 3:32 to go first half. The Orange up by 4.
Oh, hi there, Bill. Hey. Are you in town for another meeting?
Season for the Orange, still ranked #1. The new poll will come out Monday. Maybe still #1 if they win this game tonight. That's up to the voters to decide. Syracuse leading Duke, #5 Duke by 4 late in the first half.
Guys, I would like to wow you with my savant-like skills of identifying a defense. Syracuse in a 2-3 zone.
And not even with man-to-man principles, right, Jim?
Wide open at that foul line area.
Hood.
Wide open at that foul line area. Just catch the ball in there. I think the right guy in there is Hood. Because Hood is a finisher. He can get to the basket, and he can also make the 15-foot jump shot.
The Orange led by as many as 9 early. Benajay knocks down another one. The second 3 for Michael Benajay.
Hasn't shot many threes this year, but when he has shot them, he has shot fairly well.
Well, he's down along the baseline now with Cooney and Ennis out front. That makes the zone a lot smaller, and you're able to attack on the baseline.
No Jeremy Grant in the game right now for the Orange. What a bounce!
Talk about getting his shooter's balance. Wow, that's what's the cover guy in Sports Illustrated.
That was Suleiman-esque.
Wow.
Duke has never led. They're down by 2 right now. Fair. What a matchup with Parker. The lefty misses. Another offensive rebound.
A good catch by Benajay.
Maybe it was the SI jinxter on the cover of Sports Illustrated who lost to Carolina.
It'll stay with Syracuse. Good effort by Thornton. Parker with the home court bounce from the corner.
They're really right up keeping face of Cooney. Not letting Cooney get any open looks at all.
Orton's on him right now. Keita picks up his third foul.
At the charge right there, made contact going to the goal.
Ennis put him in a bad spot with that pass.
Somebody better put Cooney in good spots and get him open for some shots. They're going to need his three.
So Keita's in the game with 3. Christmas is on the bench with 2. Not a very deep team.
I want to slide Hood right behind the front 2. Catch the ball right there. Turn face.
17-footer not there. Offensive rebound Parker. Both teams doing a very good job on the offensive glass.
Well, when Hood gets the ball in the middle, Keita's got to come up, and that makes the back of the zone small.
What a great fake. What a head fake right there. You talk about a guy that utilizes ball, head fakes, foot fakes. Oh, he does a terrific job with that. Watch this right here.
He's got game at both ends of the floor, an excellent defender. But you're right, Dick, those fakes and the fact that he can make that shot and put the ball on the floor, that makes him really difficult to guard in the middle.
I think he's going to be a terrific NBA player. So Scottie Pippen in the house here today, Hall of Famer.
All kinds of NBA folks, scouts, general managers here checking out Syracuse and Duke. There's Scottie Pippen.
How is he checking us out? Is he checking us out? I got game. Come on, Scottie, I got game. He's tweeting, man. Funny thing, he can't send the tweets out. They won't go out of this building.
A couple of misses at the line for Hood. He was a very good free throw shooter, 84% on the season.
I was going to say that's a rarity for him because he's really very good at that line. So are the 2 guys for Syracuse for the games on the line. Ennis and
Fair dribbled it off his foot. Suleiman got it. Timeout, Syracuse.
good timeout by the veteran coach. Things have turned. Uncle Mo now has slid to the side of the Dukies.
And Duke has done it on the defensive end. C.J. Fair going one-on-one against Parker. Parker was down low in a stance, moving his feet, and Fair dribbled it off his foot. And Suleiman, excellent in transition, and a breakdown guy off the dribble.
That's a strong drive to the goal because he had to fight off a defender.
Coming up on the Mazda halftime report, a wild finish for the Kentucky Wildcats today. And also Marcus Smart is back and returns in style for Oklahoma State.
He better return in style. They need some W's, man, or they're going to be looking at NIT.
Well, he had 16 points, 10 assists, and 6 steals in the game today.
Game day 1 week from tonight. Stillwater, Oklahoma State hosting Kansas.
That's always a great matchup when you got Wiggins and Smart.
Duke has roared back to tie it. Syracuse has gone cold. The Orange have made just 3 of their last 17 shots from the floor.
Ouch. 30 in a row on the line here. Cameron Indoor Stadium has been very good to the Dukies.
Tied for the longest active streak in the nation with Florida and Stephen F. Austin. Stephen F. Austin playing right now against Northwestern State.
Well, Plumlee does a nice job of moving his feet to hedge hard off those ball screens.
He really does. He's so active. He's active both defensively and offensively.
Well, he's a great athlete, and he can really run.
Ennis from a tough angle. Keita. Boy, they're missing some opportunities, aren't they?
Wow. Wow, they can't throw it in the ocean right now the way they're shooting the basketball.
But Mike Krzyzewski cannot be happy about the glass. I think that's 13 offensive rebounds right now for Syracuse.
Well, we felt Syracuse would have the big edge in that area.
They can hold for the final shot. Ennis got the switch. Fair puts it on the floor. Too strong. And the first half will end in a tie. A low-scoring affair, especially compared to the first game between these two teams.
Guards were 1 for 9, Cooney and Ennis. Ennis has got to be really get alive, put some points on the board, and Cooney's going to have to make some shots, Jay.
You know, when Steve Wojciechowski, the assistant coach for Duke, talked with Shannon Spake at halftime, he mentioned the term quality of shot. And Duke's quality of shot in their half-court offense was high. They just didn't make them. And Syracuse's quality of shot was high because they got a lot of offensive rebounds. And as Dan said, they didn't capitalize on it.
Duke with the opening possession here in the second half.
Rakeem Christmas back in the game.
Oh, look at that fake. Look at that fake. You got to convert it. He normally does.
Jefferson fouled, and if it's Christmas, it's an early third foul here in the second half as we check in with Shannon.
Well, Dan, the Duke head coaches have called the last 5 days, quote, grueling. They've had 3 games. The last 48 hours have really been the toughest. They had the game at Chapel Hill, which they lost. They got back here to Durham at about, 2:30 in the morning Friday. They woke up. Some of the players had class on Friday morning. They then did all of the normal stuff. They called it a night. Woke up today, got ready for this game. You got to think there was probably an ice bath or 2 mixed in there. Despite the grueling schedule, Coach Wojciechowski told me they cannot use it as a crutch. They can't use it as an excuse. They have to come out today and they have to prove that they can win these big games.
All right, Shannon, thank you. Duke now with its first lead of the game. As Syracuse comes down with the ball. Jay, it was the third on Christmas. What kind of a predicament now is that for the Orange?
Well, it makes it more difficult. He might have to be a little bit less aggressive going after shot blocks. And Duke is going to continue to put a guy like Rodney Hood or Jabari Parker in the middle. And they can draw him up to guard them. And if they continue to use the shot fake, maybe they pick up number 4.
There's Christmas down on the block. Left hand over Parker, gets it to go.
He's really done a good job for them offensively in the last few games. He's been more active inside. Hey, you talk about Duke, 3 consecutive games they've scored less than 70. They haven't done that 4 consecutive games all the way back in the 2000, and I believe it was 2009 was the last time they did that.
Parker, good look from the corner.
Spread his body, got a good look, a rhythm jump shot. He shot that in tremendous rhythm, Jay.
And a big battle inside between Jefferson and Christmas. Jefferson called for the foul, his second.
That was a legitimate call. Jefferson was all over him, trying to body him up on a post. They tried to clean up that post play inside, Jay.
Well, Jefferson, being the smaller defender, has got to break contact and use his quickness to get around in front.
I think Christmas did a great job kind of making it. He hooked his arm under Jefferson's. And now Jefferson, we saw foul trouble for him in the first game between these two. He just picked up his third. Duke will go to the bench, and Marshall Plumlee back in. Gave Duke 15 very strong minutes in the first half. 4 points, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks.
See, he's a different player now than he was in that first matchup. Great play on the interior right there in the lane.
They're so good driving from that side of the floor is a lefty, and he ties the game at 30.
Well, Duke is really so susceptible to scoring on the inside. Syracuse with 42 points on the board against them that first matchup inside.
Hood misses the turnaround.
Plumlee's got his find his way to the front of that rim when the ball goes into the middle.
See, with Jefferson getting fouls now, at least you got another player in Plumlee. They didn't have that in that first matchup against Syracuse. When Jefferson went out, Parker went out, they couldn't go. Plumlee wasn't ready to deliver like he's delivering now.
Oh, what a terrible shot by C.J. Fair. That is not what Jim Boeheim wanted.
You're being kind. You're being kind with that.
Plumlee is looking to screen the zone.
Tell you one thing, Syracuse has done a terrific job. Defensive transition, not allowing Duke to get out for layups.
Thornton. Got it.
He loves, I'm going to tell you, everybody keeps saying, suspect shooter. Forget about it. He's not a suspect shooter, Jay. He's an underrated shooter.
He's a guy who brings a lot of intangibles to the court. At the end of the night, the numbers aren't big. But he's a starter now, 8 start in a row, and getting a lot of...
Oh, wow, where's the help? Nobody's looking at the ball. That's a no-no, Jay Billis. You know that. You played it, Duke. You got to find the basketball. The most dangerous thing on the floor is the basketball.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you play. You have to have help side defense. And
wow,
Syracuse eliminated all the help. They just got a 2-man game on the left side of the floor, and nobody was in the lane to help.
Nobody saw ball you man. The Bob Knight theory.
Hood again inside that zone.
He's got to look at the bucket there. Easy to say, hard to do.
5 to shoot.
Good defensive effort right here.
And Parker going strong to the rim, draws the foul.
I know there are a lot of great freshmen. I know we talk about Wiggins and we talk about Randall, who made the great play today. We talk about Ennis. He's the best. Jabari Parker's the best freshman in America.
Rakeem Christmas, foul number 4.
It is so hard for a shot blocker like Christmas to lay off going after that, but the discretion would have been the better part of valor there.
So Jim Boeheim will go back to Bai Musa Keita. The good news is Keita worked his tail off in the first half, had 8 rebounds, 7 at the offensive end. The bad news is Keita's got 3 fouls.
Well, also the good news for them is Keita's available because prior to this game, played 2 minutes at BC and then missed the 4, I guess, previous games because of a leg problem.
The problem Syracuse has, Keita not as good of a finisher around the rim.
Andre Dawkins in for Duke.
And you just certainly think about Duke shooting the 3. Obviously, the 3 has not fallen for them here. They've had some good looks. They haven't had the 3 fall for them the last couple of games. They were 5 for 22 against North Carolina.
They're still 5th in the country in three-point shooting, better than 41% as a team.
Well, Dawkins is a guy that can heat up in a hurry if they can get him open.
Lob inside for Fair. Thornton hustles and saves.
Good defensive effort by Thornton.
Suleiman
gets the deuce, but what a play by Thornton. He has that mental discipline defensively, anticipated, got the steal, and the Cameron Crazes are rocking.
Ennis fouled by Suleiman. Timeout on the floor. Trouble for Syracuse with their starting center, Rakeem Christmas, on the bench. Now with 4 fouls after this challenge by Jabari Parker. And the Blue Devils are getting out and running to take a 4-point lead.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is
Bradley, Tuesday, or Thursday rather. No, Tuesday, excuse me, 9 Eastern on ESPN2 and also live on Watch ESPN.
Tell you one thing, nobody's going to beat them in a regular season. Watch out, though. Sweet 16 could be deja vu what they did to Gonzaga last year.
With Duke not allowing the ball to come in. 5 guys playing all out for 5 seconds on the inbound. Marshall Plumlee knocks it away.
I'll tell you, I'm so impressed with Plumlee. I really am. Watching where he came from the beginning of the season to now.
Tyler Ennis, by his standards, really struggled in the first half. Committed a couple of turnovers. Only scored 2 points. Didn't make a shot from the field.
Yeah, Ennis and Cooney got to really give him some point production. They just can't rely on Fair on the inside of Graham.
Floater, no. Follow, yes.
As the offensive glass, tip in.
Duke caught on a switch. That put Jefferson on Ennis and Suleiman inside guarding a bigger guy.
And Keita gets credit for the basket. That's his 8th offensive rebound of the game.
There's that getting the ball right in the 3-second area. Oh, good recovery right there by Ennis.
Ennis the steal, took it away from Jefferson. Wide open is Fair. Not a great 3-point shooter. He'll drive and hit a tough baseline floater. He's awfully good at that.
Yeah, he really is. He gets a baseline. He's an excellent baseline player. Goes under control. Good timeout right here. Syracuse with a little run.
And Rodney Hood going to be inserted.
He's explosive. That's a great first step. Going to watch him right here with a little spinning jump shot. And then going to watch him operate here across the lane with that floater. Scores in a variety of ways.
Suleiman thought about it. Now gets inside. Gets it back. Still loose.
Look at that hustle. Look at that scrapping. Playing for that name of that jersey, baby, on the front.
It'll be Syracuse ball as we check it again with Shannon.
Dan, C.J. Fair told me he was just plain frustrated with his performance at Boston College. It's not like he didn't score points. He made 20 points on the night, but he only converted on 7 of 23 from the twos. He said his touch was just off. He said he didn't have a game where his percentage was so low. He knew he had to move past it because this was going to be an emotional game, but he did admit that he was going to go back and watch every single one of his shots to prepare for tonight.
All right, Shannon, thank you. And C.J. Fair getting a ton of minutes, averaging over 39 minutes per game in conference play. And Jay, they've got a lot of good players, but you referred to him earlier as Syracuse's best player.
I don't think there's any question. You can say that Tyler Ennis is their most important because he plays the point guard position, and has to run the team, but C.J. Fair is their best player.
Grant. No call and a basket for Jeremy Grant, who now has 10.
I'll tell you one thing, those combination at those wings, when you throw Grant and Fair, they're not going to beat you with perimeter jump shots, but they're going to attack the rim. They're going to attack it off the bounce. They're explosive. And he's going to the basket, spinning the lane, getting a score. What a tough break for Notre Dame, losing his brother. Mike Bray's had to suffer because of losing a kid like Grant.
And Jeremy Grant, we believe, is playing with some discomfort in his back. He was getting stretched out during a timeout in the first half. He was very late coming out of the locker room at the start of the second half, and you can see he's obviously bothered by something. This is at halftime. Everybody else is warmed up, ready to go. There's basically no time left on the halftime clock, and Grant just came out right at the very end and bent over at the waist. He is bothered.
And not a move to take him out. He's going to gut this out, pain or no.
There's that ACC right in the middle, a little blue, wide open if somebody flashes in that lane.
Well, look how much ground that Jeremy Grant covers down the bottom of that zone, getting all the way out to the top of the key and back.
They're going to try to get Parker, I think, in that lane.
Thornton, too much size for Keita. Off balance by Suleiman to beat the shot clock, and it's Syracuse ball.
Well, terrific defensive possession. Very efficient right there by the Orange men.
Fair's got a mismatch inside. They've got to throw it to him. He had Cook on him.
Now they switch, and Suleiman still a bit of a mismatch.
They took advantage of that. That first matchup, Fair had some mismatches and went wild on the inside.
Duke ball.
That's a settle. Even though Jeremy Grant was wide open, that's not his shot.
.13-14 to go here in the second half. Syracuse and Duke in a rematch of that great game up at the Carrier Dome 3 weeks ago. And the Orange with a 2-point lead on the road. Each of these programs coming off a loss in their last game. And for Syracuse, their first loss of the season.
Trying to avoid back-to-back L's. That doesn't happen often.
Yeah, we call this a 2-3 zone, but it's really a 2-2-1. Look how high the wings are up.
Here's Parker. Jay, how can they exploit Grant and Fair coming up so high?
Well, you've got to get somebody behind it. If you can get somebody in the corners, the problem is they trap the corners and trap the sideline.
Fourth foul on by Musa Keita. So Christmas on the bench with 4. Keita in the game with 4. Now what?
Jim Boeheim's got some decisions to make.
Here comes Cooney. Keita out, and now Grant's got to go into the middle.
And now you get small, really small along the baseline. So you can attack this and attack it inside. There should be very little fear taking the ball to the rim right now, even though Grant and Fair can block shots.
And there's very little chance that he's going to come out of the 2-3 zone and play man-to-man.
Told us up at the Carrier Dome 3 weeks ago he has not played a minute of man-to-man in 5 years. Foul trouble for Duke, a big problem for them in the loss of in Syracuse. Foul trouble for Syracuse, maybe a big problem for them tonight. Cook misses the
three. What a great
Parker.
offensive rebound.
The Parker's had the ball knocked away out of his hands several times in this ball game tonight.
Patience right here. Patience, poise, points. The 3 P's, Dan Schulman. The 3 P's.
Well, the 4th P is paint. They got to get it into the paint.
I like that. I like that even better. You make shots over the top of that zone.
What about perimeter?
Perimeter. It's 5 P's. Throw in the perimeter.
Cook gives Duke the lead.
Shot that over the top of that zone.
Ennis.
Oh, they needed that. They got to get him going. He's got to stop being so unselfish and look for some shots, attacking off the bounce, because he has great ability to
get themselves at the top against Colorado. That's coming up next.
All right, Max, thank you. We got a ways to go in this one. 11:49 to go here in Durham. Dan Schulman, Dick Vitale, Jay Billis, Shannon Spake, the Orange and the Blue Devils. And a 2-point lead now for Syracuse after Ennis completes the 3-point play.
That was a clutch play by Ennis. They needed that big time. Cooney trying to flatten out a little bit more into that ACC area, in that 3-second area, trying to take that look away from Duke.
Now Grant called for the foul, and as we talked about, Christmas on the bench, Keita on the bench. They go right inside because they've got less size in there, and that's actually the 3rd foul on Jeremy Grant.
Well, Syracuse doesn't have the same kind of size and length along the baseline, so they're going to have to be more active and more disruptive.
Duke should be able to get on the glass a little bit with Jefferson and also Parker.
Cook. That was a great ball fake that Cook put on there to free him up for that shot. He just missed it.
He's so poised when you look at Ennis.
Misses the layup. And a battle between Jefferson and Benajay. And the foul's going to go on Benajay.
And take a look at Ennis. He doesn't finish the play. He gets in. He starts to flare away with his body rather than turn into the goal.
5 fouls apiece. Less than 9 minutes into the second half.
Ball screen against the zone by Jefferson.
Good.
3 seconds. Oh, he hesitated. Got to turn and go right to the basket. He's not sure of himself. They got to go to the goal when you get in that deep.
Jefferson.
Why not? He waited about a half an hour, it seemed. But finally, there's such a gap, such a sea. I mean, I can make a play in there. You don't believe it. I know that. You and Billis don't believe it, but I can make a play in that lane.
Fair over Parker. Duke looking for the lead. And Parker, count it.
That's an awfully difficult call for Jim Boeheim to take, simply because Benajay had 2 feet on the floor facing the ball handler. But Jabari Parker put him in a position to get that foul. Really ran the court well, and the pass ahead was excellent.
So Christmas and Keto with 4. Grant and Benajay with 3 for a team that is not deep at all.
Foul trouble really mounting big time for the Cuse. Cooney's. He's got to try to get some screens for this kid and get to the rim.
Ennis. Offensive rebound.
The Duke's pressure has been excellent on the ball.
Doing a good job defensively, really pressuring Ennis.
Fair with an 18-footer.
That's clutch right there. They needed that badly. Seemed like they were getting a little bit out of sync.
Fair averaging 16.6, has 10 tonight.
28 the first matchup.
There's a man behind that zone, Emil Jefferson.
Right, he can throw the ball, get a little lob inside.
Hood. Yes.
He's so effective once he gets into that lane. So efficient. That lane, you can put a Mack truck in here. Put a Mack truck. You know what a Mack truck is?
Yes, sir.
You can put it, I don't know if they have them in Canada.
Long jumper Grant, and that will at least temporarily silence the crowd here at Duke.
Well, Jimmy told us before the game, for us to win, Grant and Fair have to score. They have to put points on the board for us. Hood likes that 3-seconder. He wants to get the ball in deep. There he is. He got it again. He got it again. He loves that. Oh, he loves that, Jay. I see your eyes getting like a $50. You want to go play and get in that lane.
Grant Hill's liking it too here at Cameron. Rodney Hood with back-to-back baskets, and the Blue Devils lead by 3.
See, right now, he's going to slide right behind the front 2, catch the ball in that lane. He can either shoot that jumper or give you that ball fake and explode to the basket. He is one of the most complete players in the country, Jay.
Well, Duke's done a nice job of keeping a man deep in the corner and one behind the zone. Emil Jefferson was behind the zone to flatten it out. And you're right, Dick, that painted area is wide open. And when you put Rodney Hood in the middle, he can make that shot, draw the middle man up, and either make a pass or make a play.
Tomorrow we've got 2 of the top teams in women's college basketball coming your way at 1 Eastern right here on ESPN. It'll be number 7 Duke and undefeated at number 2 Notre Dame. Also available live on Watch ESPN.
They played earlier this year, and Notre Dame won decisively. What a job Muffin McGraw has done with that program, undefeated along with UConn. They just keep rolling on UConn.
2 undefeateds on the women's side. Wichita State, the only remaining undefeated on the men's side. Look at Shea bringing the ball up.
And look at the pressure Suleiman's putting on.
Keita. And Syracuse ball.
Keita a little bit soft going to the rim. I don't know if it's because of his leg.
Syracuse has gotten a couple of good things off their out-of-bounds underneath plays.
You know, one thing we haven't talked about a lot tonight, guys, is that Cooney has really not been a factor at all. He hasn't played in a while, didn't make shots in the first half when he was in there. They need his three-point shooting. Grant rejected at the rim.
I thought he got fouled right there. Didn't he get hit? I thought he got hammered from up here.
And Syracuse will get a fresh 35. Ennis baseline floater short.
He's trying to become a little bit more aggressive, but he's hesitating when he gets around the basket.
Good again.
That's trouble when he gets it in there.
Cook for 3.
Opportunities, as you said, just not completing the play. And look at Cooney right now, struggling big time. That guard comparison right there, looking at both guys, really not putting points on the board.
Cooney has just checked back in. Can they get him open for some looks? Suleiman's on him, Cook's on Ennis.
And Suleiman's very aggressive on the defensive end. Maybe the little rest helped him.
Christmas is back into the game as well, playing with 4. Fair scoops it up and in.
He has such a big-time move. I know he's a strong left-handed player, but he does that so exceptionally well. You know, I look at all the guys in foul trouble, and I've said this so often, I'll say it again. I think we got to go to 6 fouls for disqualification. Players are quicker, more active, more whistles, and too many guys sit in the pond. And we should go to a 30-second clock as well.
Still 10 to shoot. Crowd counting down the shot clock as Suleiman rattles it home.
He's become such a valuable player. Earlier this year, sitting on a pond, they weren't happy with his performance. He didn't practice well, but he didn't pout and sulk. He picked up the pieces, and now he's a major contributor.
Emil Jefferson called for his 4th foul. 6:27 to go, second half. Timeout on the floor.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball.
100 people have shown up for this event. It's a viewing party. The doors opened at about 4. They've had barbecue, bands, and a whole lot of orange.
Well, they were selling Beat Duke t-shirts in Syracuse near campus in September. As soon as they beat them on the 1st of February, they started selling Beat Duke again t-shirts. But they're down 6 right now.
Did you buy one?
No, sir. Only 37%. Only 2 threes tonight for Syracuse. Christmas surrounded. Can't finish. Duke ball.
And what a great job by Rodney Hood to come over from the weak side and get in between Christmas and the basket. Duke's ball pressure has really been the story of the game. They have pressured Tyler Ennis, and they have taken Trevor Cooney totally out of this one.
You're right, Jay. You look at Ennis, he's 1 for 10. And Cooney, hasn't had a good look in a long time. He's been on a pine a little bit. Pretty tough to win when your guard combination not giving you any point production.
Well, the pressure has forced them to break off their sets and improvise. That's what Duke wants them to do.
Ennis with a steal.
Got to get a score here. Nice pass.
Grant recovers, and scores.
Good second effort by Grant. Lost possession of the ball. That was a must score right there, Jay, because they're starting to get a little away from him.
Well, it was a must score, but there's a lot of contact up there. No call. He finished through that contact.
14 now for Grant. The Orange within 4. Parker kind of hiding down in the corner behind Grant.
Trying to overload that backside of that zone.
A deep one for Cook. And a good rebound by Fair.
They're going to lay a screen and try to get an open look for Cooney. I mean, at least an open look, because there's a good possibility he can make one.
A crossover by Ennis. A little strong.
He's jabbing on his shot. He is not finishing all the way through on his shot with the rotation and backspin.
And he's going against a set defense. There was one pass made there, but it was really against a defense that had not been made to move at all.
Look at Duke right now showing some patience here.
They're also letting the clock run.
Open his hood.
Wow. Because he can shoot that.
Oh, Parker with a follow.
That's big time, my friends. That's big time. That's the best type of dandy in the nation. Talk about all the ones you want. He is by far, to me, the most talented and the best freshman in the land.
Ennis gets to the rim, and it's a 4-point game again.
And Ennis says, are you serious? What about me? What about me?
Now, Christmas did a nice job of screening off a big guy who could have come over and put a stop to that drive. That was an excellent job by the big man.
You like all those big guys because you used to lay those screens when you played right here.
Again, taking the air out of the ball.
And take some time off the clock. You got the lead. Not going to a delay game, but you're going to really make them. Oh, nice move down the lane.
Cook the miss, Grant the rebound. Syracuse can inch closer.
Hey, Jay, I'm going to ask you, what can they do with Deuce right there to get Cooney free?
Well, you want to run him off some screens, but the problem is they're staying right with them, and they're not helping off at all. And he's not the type of guy that's going to create his own shot. He's got to get it off of movement, off of coming off screens.
Cooney just 2 points tonight.
Want him to be an attacker, and that's what he's basically doing now. And he's showing his tremendous ability. Let's look at Jeff Cable, one of the members of Coach K's staff.
Did a terrific job at VCU, followed by Oklahoma.
Both these clubs have such loyalty on their staff. They believe in former players that understand what it's about. You got Hopkins on the other end. You got McNamara.
Adrian Autry.
Autry as well.
Looking inside for Parker. Hood the screen. Down to 8. Down to 3.
Oh, nice pass. What a pass. That was a terrific look. Great anticipation, great vision, Jay.
Ennis off to Grant. And a foul called on Jabari Parker.
Tyler Ennis says, I see your great pass and I raise you.
Mike Krzyzewski thought it should have been a walk. 2:36 to go. Looks like they're going to go right down to the wire as they did up at the Carrier Dome. Suleiman shovels it to Hood for a big basket. Duke by 4. The game of the year to this point. Syracuse winning in overtime 3 weeks ago. Are we headed for another finish like that here tonight? Duke leading by 4. 2:36 to go. Jeremy Grant at the line.
With back problems and all, Jeremy Grant has had another terrific game.
Grant and Fair are such a dynamite duo on the wings.
1 for 4 now at the line for Grant. It's a 3-point game.
Free throw shooting big now as you get down the stretch. Shot selection, making sure you take the right shot, the right people shooting the basketball.
Parker along the baseline. Hood going to go into the middle. And Parker's a guy that can attack along the baseline.
And a 3-guard look for Duke. Thornton, Cook, Suleiman.
Also Parker very dangerous on the offensive boards when he's on that baseline like that.
Shot clock running down.
Uh-oh.
Cook. Long rebound. Cooney's got it.
He got bumped. You got to blow the whistle there. You got to blow the whistle. He did.
Thornton is called for the foul. And 1-1 coming for the Orange.
Looked like he might have shuffled his feet before he got hit. He was going after that ball so hard.
He's a good free throw shooter going to the line. He has really not got open for any looks today. As you said, Jay, they've been pressure him, extended defensively on him, can't create off the bounce.
He was phenomenal against Notre Dame. After all that emotion of the first Duke-Syracuse game, the Monday after, when the Orange played Notre Dame on Big Monday, they had nothing in the tank, and Cooney saved them.
Tell you one thing, he made some big shots in the game against Duke as well.
This is third and fourth points of the night. Syracuse back within one inside the final 2 minutes.
And remember, both clubs trying to avoid losing back-to-back games. It doesn't get easy for Syracuse. They got to go to Maryland Monday night, and they have Virginia on Saturday, who's 14-1. The Cavaliers really in control to win the ACC.
Here's where a defensive rebound is a gigantic play.
They're going to try to slide Parker in that 3-second area.
Got it.
What a terrific play. Smart, good basketball IQ. Taking their #1 option. So many times players have no clue that's what's happening strategically with time, managing the game. Right there, that was cerebral, man. Go to our #1 option in that 3-second area.
He's got a terrific basketball IQ, and his talent matches it. And what a finish through contact. He has had a tremendous game, knocking down shot stick from the perimeter, getting the ball to the basket, and finishing through contact. The offensive rebounding. Jabari Parker has as complete a game as you can have, and that last play going through the contact, his eyes are up, knocking that shot in. When his defense matches his offense, forget it.
Hey, Jay, I think when you look at the 5 best players in America, you talk about picking a legitimate first-team All-American. I don't know how you can leave that kid off the team. He's that complete of a player.
Some of the league's top superstars headline our NBA Sunday Showcase. What a doubleheader we've got for you. The Clippers and the Thunder at 1 Eastern, then the Bulls and the Heat at 3:30 Eastern on ABC. It all starts at 12:30 with NBA Countdown.
Kevin Durant certainly the leader for MVP, but never, ever, ever count out the king, Mr. James. Now here it is, big possessions now, every possession, goal. You're down 3 on the road. This is a big possession with a minute on the clock.
Bear wants the ball. He's got Thornton on him.
A minute to go. Cooney driving. Tip no good. Parker rips it out of there. And he's fouled.
He is playing one heck of a basketball game. He doesn't want to hear about being a freshman. This guy's just a flat-out PT player.
That was a man's rebound.
Big time.
He's getting jostled around by Rakeem Christmas and 4 orange shirts around him, and Jabari Parker comes away with the ball.
Chicago, the Windy City's been good to Duke. Mike Krzyzewski, Mr. Parker, and now next year, Mr. Okafor.
Duke just 6 for 14 from the free throw line tonight.
Ooh. Penetration. Got to get it to Ennis. He's got to penetrate. Either find Fear, find Cooney, but he's got to penetrate off that bounce. Attack the basket.
Nice job by Cook.
There it is. That great pass. Tremendous vision. He reminds me of a little bit of Jason Kidd when he played at California.
Now the game clock and the shot clock are dead on. Duke's got the ball in a 1-point lead. If they don't get a steal, who do they foul? It'll be Suleiman. And it'll be 1-1 for Rashid Suleiman.
And what is 6 for 15 right now? Duke on a free throw line.
And what an amazing pass by Tyler Ennis. Drawing both defenders, and Jabari Parker just not getting back and recovering quickly, and Tyler Thornton a little late getting there on the tag.
Yeah, great look by Ennis. Looked, like I said, a little bit like Jason Kidd when he played in college. Free throws. We said it's always going to come to this.
1-1 for Suleiman.
Even if Suleiman makes them both, Syracuse does not need a 3. They can get it to the rim and extend the game, perhaps pick up a foul.
Well, that getting to the rim's got to be Ennis, who's usually Mr. Clutch. get into the basket, and maybe if you find a spot-up shooter like Cooney to shoot a three if he's wide open. But I agree with you. You got to take the quick deuce.
More college action that comes your way Monday night. With a doubleheader, you'll see the Orange again as they take on Maryland at 7 Eastern. Then at 9 Eastern, it'll be Kansas and Oklahoma from Allen Fieldhouse. Big Monday presented by Verizon, a part of Bracket Builder Week, and both games also available live on Watch ESPN.
About 30 in a row right here, going for 31 in a row. Stephen F. Austin also has 30 in a row playing right now.
Tonight's aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear, the tires that are a slam dunk in superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. 25 seconds to go. Second free throw coming for Rashid Suleiman. Syracuse still with a timeout. Duke's got the arrow.
Gators won 30 in a row as well. Well, if he scores this, his three, you got to get in Ennis's hands, and you got to allow him to penetrate. And if you're Duke, you're going to try to deny the ball, get it out of Ennis's hands. He's been clutch. Just as Pittsburgh, he's made big plays at the end of games.
Can't come off Cooney.
Fair. Offensive.
Jim Boeheim is livid, and I don't blame him. He is livid.
And a technical.
No, a tee on top of it. No, don't end the game like this, like that.
I did not believe that Rodney Hood got there. You give him a tremendous amount of credit for taking that charge, but I didn't believe that was the correct call from my vantage point. But we're 150 feet away.
Did he throw him out of the game?
He did. He got two technicals.
Oh, you don't want to see the game end like this. He had a right to scream. There's times when the coach has a right. Come on now.
Remember, the feet have to be set before the player begins his upward motion into the shot. I think we'd all agree, guys, it's probably the toughest call to make in basketball, and it's being called differently this year than it was in the past. And that's about as angry as you will ever see Jim Boeheim.
Well, the problem is, he may have a beef with the call, but the problem is that ends the game right there.
Absolutely.
There's still 10.4 seconds, 2-point game.
It's over.
I mean, that was a player control foul. Now the game's over.
It's over. I think sometimes as an official, you got to let the guys scream and yell. I mean,
well, not when he runs out on the court like that. There was nothing wrong with that technical foul. Both of them were fine. What I'm saying is, right call, wrong call. Jim Boeheim's reaction ended the game.
I don't know, as a coach, I just feel sometimes, you're right, I mean, he definitely left the coach's box. He's going to go by the rules. He definitely was warranted for a tee, but you see it end like that.
There's nothing the official could do with the reaction. That reaction was not reasonable. Not liking the call was reasonable, but not the reaction.
Yeah, I guess no choice. I guess you look at really up here, just hate to see a game end like that.
And Hood will use Duke's last timeout, unable to get the ball in. Remember the play up at the Carrier Dome. Duke fans were upset after the game that Hood didn't get free throws when he tried to jam the ball into the end of the game. That call went Syracuse's way. Syracuse won that game. And now again, right at the end of this game, officiating comes into play. This time it goes Duke's way.
Well, I thought the call at the Carrier Dome was really clear that was a foul. Now, I felt this was a block, but this one is actually a lot closer than the other one.
Very close here. I mean, it's really questionable. You could go either way. The official, in his mind, I mean, he thinks he makes the right call. There's no question Boeheim left the court. No question he violated the rule. He reacted negatively. I just hate to see the scene end like this.
Yeah, there's nothing the official could do there other than call a tee and then call the second one.
No, he definitely stepped out of bounds. And I'll tell you what.
But hey, wait a minute. Let's be clear. Like that, the call on Rodney, the charge call did not end the game. Jim Boeheim ended the game.
It would have been Duke ball up 2 with 10.4 seconds to go.
Absolutely, no question.
Duke inbound the ball, not taking free throws.
Yes, no free throws because it was a player control foul. They got 4 free throws out of the 2 technicals and made 3 of them.
The technicals ended the game, absolutely. And you know it feels bad. He had no choice to call the official. He really down deep, I guarantee you. In his heart, he didn't want to call it, but he had no choice.
Yeah, I don't think the official needs to feel bad. They call it as they see it. That's fine. We can agree, disagree, but the officials are the law of the court. But the reaction ended the game.
And these are all, that's Tony Green. That's the guy who made the call on the baseline and threw Jim Boeheim out of the game. All 3 of these officials, guys, you know,
good officials.
You've both been doing games longer than I. These are all very experienced, highly thought of officials.
I mean, we don't know what he said. We were way down here. He probably cursed a little bit.
You don't have to know what he said. Just the reaction. I got a pretty good idea what he said.
Actually, if you can read lips at all, we got a pretty good idea what he said.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. If you saw me act, I'm looking in and have cable in those days or TV, because I would have went bananas there too. They would have taken me out of here.
So Syracuse, which started the season 25-0 on the verge of its 2nd consecutive loss, going to Maryland Monday, going to Virginia next Saturday, and then finishing the regular season after a home game against Georgia Tech, finishing the regular season at Florida State. Their schedule much tougher near the end than it was at the beginning.
And Virginia in great shape. I mean, the ACC regular season title, the #1 seed in the conference, is right in their hands.
Ennis at the line will get 3. The last thing that Mike Krzyzewski wanted to see.
Well, that was not a smart foul at all.
Now with 4.9 seconds on the clock.
Fouling's the only way that this game would be in doubt.
It's been a tough night for Mr. Cooney.
But you have to give a tremendous amount of credit. His tough night was forced by the pressure that Duke put on. This has to be the best defensive performance Duke's put on since they played Michigan.
Yeah, they did a great job. I was going to say, we were here for the Michigan game. They were terrific against Michigan defensively.
And I'll tell you what, it couldn't have been easy to get up. You get up for the game, but to sustain the emotion after playing an emotional game Thursday night, to have this kind of an emotional game on Saturday. I'm not sure there's been 2 big-time games like this in a row that Duke's had in a long, long time.
Well, it simulates a tournament setting for him.
So Duke with a win tonight would go to 22-6, 11-4 in the conference, and extend their home court winning streak to 31. Their 3 remaining regular season games are at home to Virginia Tech, at Wake Forest, and then at home to Carolina. So they'll be trying to revenge the defeat they suffered 48 hours ago.
Carolina, one of the hot teams in America now. Won by 30+ today. Syracuse is going to face some real challenges right now. They're going to have to regroup, get themselves back in that winner's mentality. Not going to get easy. Going to leave here, go to Maryland Monday night, and then a trip to Charlottesville on Saturday.
And we're in all likelihood, of course, now looking at a new #1 on a Monday when the poll comes out. The Florida Gators seem primed to take over the top spot. Absolutely. As Syracuse loses for the 2nd time in as many games after starting the year 25-0. Duke avenges the defeat they suffered up at the Carrier Dome 3 weeks ago as they defeat the Orange 66-60 in a hard-fought affair tonight here. Mike Krzyzewski with some thoughts and words for Tyler Ennis and Jeremy Grant.